Don't be saying that. I just started recording. I don't think it got that though. We'll leave that out. If it is in there, it's in there. What's up, 216? Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Kevin Merrick, with co-host Chili Connoisseur Jacob Brickman.
What's good?
What is up, my guy? There we go. Actually, I think I kind of like it like this. What do you think? This or this?
Yeah.
This one? All right, we'll keep it with this one for real, for real. What's good, dude? How you doing? It's we've missed you here on the show, Mister Part-time co-host.
Been living the life, dude. Busy
Yes,
man
sir.
over here. Busy
Oh
man
yeah.
over here.
But good to have you back. Good to have you back in the stew, um,
In the beef stew.
Mr. F. but yeah, we got some things to talk about here. Um, let's just go ahead and get right into this thing. We've got some Guardians to talk about with spring training actually starting. Pitchers and catchers reported. I think we actually have hitters there now too. Um, but yeah, so spring training is in full effect. I think the first game is actually next week. I could be wrong on that. Let me see. Oh my god, let me see. Um,
Let
spring
me see.
spring training. All right. All right. So yeah, the first game of spring training is Thursday, February 22nd, 3:10. It is the Dodgers versus the Padres. So
Okay.
okay. Oh, okay. I see you rocking
Okay.
that new hat.
Oh, wrong side.
Ooh, there's the hoodie. Let's go. I'm not even wearing mine today. What the
What the?
draw? But yeah, so we've got some Guardians going, getting ready to opening day is gonna be here before we know it. Let's be real. The spring training is gonna go by rather quickly. Um, and then we're gonna be watching some baseball. I guess a couple things to talk about here. Let's just open this up with what are your season expectations?
Um, I mean, knowing how we're very cheap. I wish we'd spend money on players, but overall, I feel like, I mean, I thought last year was gonna be a good year just because of the playoffs the year before. But I mean, we got a young squad. We have to stay consistent with it. I think there's many games that that we lost last year that we should have won, and I think honestly, just take the mindset of the Cavs. You just got to keep winning. I mean, no matter what.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. You're gonna. There's 62 games in baseball. You're not gonna win every single one, but um, I mean, I think just staying consistent with the guys that we have, and the young players that we're going to call up and whatnot, and um, I mean, it should be a good year. I hope.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, my expectations are incredibly low. Um, One, the fact that we're not spending any money. We have the 27th lowest payroll. That being $84.4 million. That is, and especially in a league where it's like pay to play and you're barely paying, it's like that's not cool. Um, but yeah, my expectations are incredibly low. Reason being, like I said, we're not paying anyone. We have a brand new manager. We don't have Tito anymore as our manager, and that's where I feel like a lot of that magic was coming from. Was such a um, coveted manager in Terry Francona. So you have that. That's no longer there. That obviously a huge piece. I mean, Stephen Vogt might, really surprise us, but again, it's his first year being a manager, so I'm not really expecting too much out of him. I'm going to give him a lot of leeway because it's like we were figuring things out. And I'm not sure if this roster can do it, especially under such a young manager. I feel like this roster was doing great things because of who was our manager. And now we just don't have that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the chemistry can bring. And let's be real, there is October Magic is a big thing. So you really got to see what the team looks like in October. I know that's like really jumping to the end of the season, but I mean, like you said, there's 160 something games, so you got a lot of time to really see what your team looks like. And if we start off tough, and then I guess we're just going for the beer and hot dogs and hanging out because there's not much not much baseball to watch if your team's not playing well. I guess a couple things that I wanted to get to here is really just talking about payroll. I mean, if you guys watched the what was it, Guards Fest, where Paul Dolan basically just said that they're not spending any money. That we love to hear that as as an organization, that we're not going to be spending money on any free agents. So not cool. Didn't make nothing, no trades, nothing. So we're not spending any money, which is fine, whatever. But when you really get down to it, and the league average is 146.8 million, and your cap, or you're not your cap, but and your payroll is at 84.4, not great. I mean, the highest payroll right now would be the Yankees at 290 mil, which that's the Dodgers would be the number one if they weren't, pushing so much aside of Shohei's contract. But nonetheless, that's what they're doing. So I guess that brings into the question of, does there need to be a floor and a ceiling when it talks about salaries for baseball?
Um, I feel like it is. I feel like there needs to be because I don't know personally. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know baseball like that, and that's why I'm here. I'm getting to know it more every day. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, personally, like yeah, like that Dodgers contract, like that's insane. I've never. You don't see that among any other sports. I feel like. I mean, especially with what we talk about football and basketball. So, and especially
Mhm.
basketball, you don't see that at all. But
Right.
um, I think there's got to be a some sort of ceiling like limit, but I mean, if you can go out and find all these players from all around the world and pretty much just have whatever type of money you have to give them, I mean, I don't know, just doesn't seem right to me.
No, it doesn't. And you can't really use the excuse of, well, small market town, because I mean, look at the payrolls. I mean, you've got all of these small market towns I mean, you're 27th in payroll, and all of these small market towns are way above your payroll. So you got to figure something out. I mean, we were in the World Series in 2016, and we haven't sniffed greatness since, I'd say, probably 2018 is when we started to really break everything down. Um, and we haven't done anything since. So at least we're getting a new stadium, though. Um,
We are getting a new
y-
stadium.
some of the stuff actually does look pretty cool.
Yeah,
The for the standing room stuff, like as I can see from my window, the whole we're gonna have all blue seats, so that's pretty cool. Not
yeah,
for the um, not for this season, but the lower half is all blue right now, so that's pretty cool. Upper half's gonna be blue next season, but they're doing the standing room in the corner, so that's gonna be pretty cool. There's gonna be more standing room. So, and honestly, standing room is pretty tight. I mean, sitting down is cool. You get to relax and whatnot, but when you're standing, hey, I'm gonna go grab something real quick. Hang out here, save our spots. You just keep alternating, walk around the ballpark. Honestly, going to baseball games is probably one of my easily top 10 summer activities, just because you go and meet so many cool people, and it just so happens to be that there's a baseball game going on. And honestly, and that's what I feel. It's what I feel like when we're at a baseball game. It's just a fun place to be, honestly.
yeah, 100%. It's well, we were talking about it before we started recording, but like personally, it's so much better to go watch baseball games in person because
Yeah.
I mean, we both agreed that it can get very boring to watch it on TV unless it's like a playoff game or like a game that has a lot of meaning to it. But I'm not going to sit there on a Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock and watch the Guardians game. I'll fall asleep and take a nap on my couch. So
Dude, that's so real that you say that, because there have been so many times where I come home from work, it's like 2:30, 3:30, and we're not necessarily playing here. but I'll just come home, put the game on, have intentions of watching it, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah,
because it's
like,
just like
dude,
they're. I mean, I understand if you're like a huge baseball fan, you watch every game, you're dialed in the whole time, really like doing the scorecards and shit like that. But like for your average baseball fan that just watching because that's your team, a lot of those can be snoozers. I mean, especially like even when it was a playoff game when we went 15 innings against the Tampa Bay Rays, I was
yeah,
just like, holy shit, like come on. Like get
yeah, it's a
this
long
over
game.
with.
Yeah, it's such a
But
long game.
yeah, looking forward to some baseball. Can't wait to see what happens. And best of luck to the Guardians. Hopefully spring training goes well and we get some sort of name for ourselves going into the season. Now, a team that is actually making a name for themselves as we speak would be our Cleveland Cavaliers. Going into the break, they lost to the Sixers, should not have happened.
Yeah,
But then they beat the Bulls. With again, you should have blown them out. But the way that they won going into the break gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the season because like they were losing and they came together as a team and they won the game. So it's good seeing that stuff happen. Donovan Mitchell honestly didn't do too bad in the 3-point contest. Um, so I mean, yeah, All-Star weekend is going on right now. Today is Sunday, so the game is actually tonight. Um, but yeah, so All-Star game is tonight, and we play Thursday against the Magic. So that's when our season picks back up. I'm excited to see what happens with this team. I really am. I think we're gonna be okay. But something that is the big talks right now, obviously, going into the second half of the season would be the MVP race. Um, Donovan Mitchell having a plus 15,000 odds to win the MVP. Probably not. But again, looking at the list of all the guys that are there, I mean,
a
Joker
lot of
is
good
leading with
players.
a minus 140 odds. So I just fucking give it to him. I mean, he's so good. He is so gifted. And honestly, it looks like he doesn't even care that he's good at basketball half the time. But like the dude, we're watching a generational talent. It's pretty cool.
Dude, well, it's funny that you say like like it looks like he doesn't care because like after like they won the finals, they're like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "I'm gonna go back at home and watch my horse racing."
Yeah.
Like he's just like,
It's
"Let me get
like
the fuck out of the states and go back to my country and do my thing." But yeah, I mean Donovan
more
Mitchell,
power
don't.
to him.
Yeah, dude, swear to God. But Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's definitely making a name for himself this year. Obviously, his odds are not the greatest in our favor, but I mean, like you said, there's a lot of good players, and like the top three players, like Jokic, Luca, and then who was that third one that we were talking about earlier?
Dude, I just had this pulled up. Let me pull this up real quick. Keep going. I'll step
But
in
I
when I
mean,
pull it up.
but I mean, like, I mean, he's been averaging I mean, his average. I couldn't tell you his exact average at the moment, but he's the backbone right now to our team.
For sure.
Obviously, that we got a lot of key guys on the team. Guys have really been stepping up. Obviously, it's nice having Garland and Mobley back, and it's nice seeing Mobley shoot some threes now, dude. He's been
Yeah, he's
banging some
starting to get
threes recently.
comfortable. He's
Yeah,
getting
so
comfortable.
it's nice that we can see a big man like that shoot a bit. I mean, I think we've got a pretty good momentum. We have a pretty good momentum entering into this All Star break, but I mean, we got another half of the season left, so can't take your foot off the gas now. You got to keep rolling if you
No.
want to make this playoff push. And right now we're the second seed in the East behind Boston. But I mean, dude, you never know what could happen. Boston could go on a slump, and we could keep winning like we have been, and somehow we're the number one seed in the East without LeBron.
Dude, that kind of gives me chills low key hearing that, man. I mean, we're playing some good basketball without LeBron, and it's nice. I hate to say that it's nice to escape um that looming shadow of LeBron. I love LeBron. I'm not saying like I'm not mocking him. I mean, where's my championship ring? Actually, it's in my boxes. But I have my
Go,
championship ring, and every time I look at that championship ring, first person that comes to mind, LeBron. So I love you. You're the GOAT.
Yo,
That being
LeBron, come
said,
home.
I'm happy your shadow is no longer looming over Cleveland because we're a new team. We're a different team, and we're doing just fine. I would trade anyone on this team to bring him back home. Don't get me wrong, because that's an instant championship. But I think we have a good chance. I like our chances. Okay, so here are the 2023-24 MVP standings. So you have Joker, number 1. You have SGA, number 2. Giannis Antetokounmpo in third. Luka Doncic, 4th. Jason Tatum, 5th. Kawhi Leonard, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, and LeBron. Yeah, and all the the
Steph and
odds.
LeBron.
The only the only player that's in minus is Joker. Everyone else is plus. Yeah, I mean, you have plus 210, plus 850, plus 1100, plus 4000, plus 10,000, plus 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, 25,000, 25,000, and LeBron is plus 50,000.
Damn.
So, yeah.
LeBron and Steph at the bottom of that list, huh?
Crazy
Kinda nuts.
times.
Yeah.
Nuts when you think about it. It really is. That's like I mean, what, 4 years back to, what was it? Because we went 2015, 16, 17, and 18, right? We went to the finals,
Yeah.
and we were just watching all the, I mean, the squads that LeBron was bringing to the finals was just like, what?
Especially
Did you
that
get to the finals?
That 2018 team, dude, I can't believe we made it to the finals. But
Your second best player on that team was J.R. Smith.
and he fucking got the rebound and bounced it out. I thought the game was tied.
If you win that game, no, I'm not talking about it. We're at a different era now. I'm letting it go to sleep. We got our ring. But yeah, we are, like I said, All-Star break is about to be over. All-Star game is tonight, and then we start playing Thursday. With that being said, what concerns do you have coming off of this break?
I mean, nothing like crazy. Honestly, overall, it's just like we're hot right now, and that kind of worries me a bit in a way, just because, like,
Because you're
yeah,
a Cleveland fan.
we're
You don't
yeah,
have to
I'm a
explain
Cleveland
it.
fan. Like who knows? We could. I mean, it happened last year. Like when we went to the playoffs, like we were so hot going into the playoffs, and then we just shit the bed. So, I mean, hopefully, I don't think that's the same, mentality that we have this year. But I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we have the pieces. I think JB is doing a hell of a job this year. Um, One thing I would like to see, though, I was talking about this with my brother Friday night. I want to see Imani Bates get pulled up to the active roster because
Why?
he's been balling in the G League. I mean, don't get me wrong, like G League's a G League, but like he's a stud. Like let's give him a shot one of these games. I mean, if he doesn't do well, you send him back down. But I mean, I think he deserves his opportunity.
I think he probably won't see the floor just because
Yeah,
of the CPJ contract that we just did. I
true.
think that's probably going to be our bench guy.
Hmm.
And I also think that's opening the door for a possible point guard trade between either Donovan or Darius. And then that's going to be our guy.
Who'd we get?
I don't know. I'm saying probably at the end of the season if I don't know. I think my main concern after this break is seeing what Darius Garland's role is.
Hmm.
Because as of late, doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this. Evan Mobley coming back and he is a completely different basketball player. Rotation didn't get fucked up. Donovan Mitchell is still being Donovan Mitchell, getting us points. And honestly, this version of Donovan Mitchell is better than last year's Donovan Mitchell. I feel like Donovan Mitchell last year was a ball hog, and he wanted it to be the Donovan Mitchell show. Rather this year, you have Donovan Mitchell that is averaging 9 assists a night, maybe 7 assists a night. So he's dishing it out. He's getting points. He's really like orchestrating a really good offense out there. So that's what I was kind of really scared about, was when Mobley and Darius came back, is what was going to happen with this rotation. And the rotation didn't get fucked up at all. And honestly, Dean Wade has been playing really good basketball. And Sam Merrill's really been stepping up. So we've got guys. It's just, aside from the Bulls game, Darius Garland has been like not the Darius Garland that you want to see going into a playoff push. So I guess my biggest concerns are, what happens with Darius Garland? Does his mindset change? And does his game change? Does Evan Mobley stay hot? And my third concern that I have going into this playoff push is, does JB not change his rotation? Does JB just say, this is the rotation we're using. I don't care if it's working or not. This is what we're going to do. Because that's what he did in the playoffs last year. He didn't bring anyone off the bench. He didn't try to change things up. It's like, if you're having a slump, right? Your guys are having slumps. That's where you bring in a Sam Merrill. That's where you bring in a hot Dean Wade. That's where you bring in those guys that are like, this could change something, because once you hit a couple shots back to back, what instantly happens? Timeout. Crowd's going fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the momentum swing. So you have to be able to change that and use your rotations to change the momentum. And I really hope JB can do that this year. He's been doing a good job with it this year. I just hope he's consistent with it, because this is when you want to try to really figure out your identity, is after the All-Star break and going in for a playoff push. You're the 2 seed right now. Which I honestly think that's as high as we go, unless you said Boston somehow hits a slump, which is very possible. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, because we've seen what Boston is capable of. We've also have seen what they're really capable of, and that is sometimes they slip. They've slipped a couple times against us, so it's like really get to see what happens there. So I really just hope we get those answers rather quickly. So it's like, okay, let's go. I guess going off of that, do you think the Cavs have an actual shot at the East? And if so, who is your ideal playoff matchup?
One, I do think the Cavs have a good shot at the East. I really think we do. Honestly, I mean, I definitely agree with all the concerns you just said, but at the same time, I mean, not this, but like, hopefully we stay consistent with it. That's my biggest thing. And even if we got a 2 seed, like I'm happy with that. And
I'm all for playing for a 2 seed right now.
And I'm currently looking up the Eastern Conference standings because I want to see. Because I do think that, I mean, right now Boston's 43-12. We're 36-17. So we're definitely a few games back. But I mean, let me tell you, Boston's hungry as fuck for that ring right now, especially when they lost to the Nuggets last year. But I don't know. You never know. But there's 82 games in basketball, so anything is, as Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. But my ideal matchup. So I forget how the playoff standings actually work So if we got the 2 seed, would we play
7?
It would be the 7 still, because those playing
Yeah.
games kind of confuse me still. So the 7 right now is the Heat. I mean,
so I think with play-in, which could be wrong, but let me load up my Cavs app here.
I'm almost positive playing games. It's like 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I'm pretty good 2 playoff game or 2 play-in games.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we could either play the Heat, Magic, Bulls, or Hawks.
If I had to pick one out of those, I honestly want to play the Bulls. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, we were just talking about how we just found a way to beat them, like, before the All-Star break, but I think out of those teams right there, I would feel most comfortable playing against the Bulls because he did play the Hawks a few years ago, and Trae Young fucked us up. So
That he did.
Trae
He
Young,
also got a
Trae
lot of
Young,
calls in that game, but yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Trae Young's a good player. Don't get me wrong, the Bulls still have a lot of good pieces on their team, but overall, I would just like I think I'd like our matchup better against the Bulls. Or I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably have to say the Bulls.
I would like the Bulls. I think that's a good matchup for us. I think we match up. Uh, I think we have the advantage on them. I wouldn't mind playing the Magic. I mean, I personally think this Cavs team could beat anyone. So just
Yeah.
give us who you got, and we're gonna take it. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. Again, last year was a bit of a different story. Um, so we'll just see. We will have to see what happens.
And here's the thing too, like if like we're gonna get the home court advantage too. So and
Yes.
we all know all of us Cleveland listeners know how Cleveland gets during the playoffs. So
Yeah.
it's like
Especially last year sucks, dude. See, that's the
last
one
year.
thing that's making it so hard for me to get excited is because I was so excited last year because we were playing, well, we weren't playing like this, but we were playing something close to this. And we shit the bed. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean I just feel better playing off, playing, home court advantage in Cleveland, just in case it did get down to game 7, in any round or whatever. But um, I like our odds better that we're at, that we'd be at home court.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Um, okay. We have to talk about it. So Browns new stadium. Um, what do you what you thinking?
All right. Well, I see both sides of the story, and honestly, I'm in the middle. Like I do agree that I think we should stay. Like we've all seen the Brook Park. Jimmy Haslam, Jimmy and Dee bought that land, but um, I do agree with what a lot of people are saying. Like we got to stay in Cleveland. Mm, I mean, I do agree with that because that's just that's where we're best at. I mean, like everyone's making, oh, let's become the Brook Park Browns. It's like that's not the case, but like, and then the other side of it, if we did move to Brook Park, it's like you got to think about it too. You have all these. I mean, it's not even just the Browns. You have all these teams in the NFL that they're not located in their city. I mean, like the Niners is the biggest. Like the Niners are 45 minutes away from from San Francisco,
Right.
like where their home field is. So it's like, I mean, compared to, I mean, that would be, I mean, compared, I mean, don't get me wrong, living in Brunswick, that'd be nice for me if I can go to the Browns games in Brook Park. But I mean, we all know we're building the dome. Hopefully, we build the dome. That would be nice because you got obviously you can host a lot more venues there. You can host like Final Fours for college basketball. You can turn it into a court easily. Um, Concerts, obviously, and then like, I mean, don't give me like, I mean, I'll do like, and you talked about this too, like the cold weather games. That's just what makes football in Cleveland. So, I mean, I see both sides of it. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't be disappointed with what happens, but I do see both sides to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know my stance on it. Everyone on Twitter knows my stance on it. 'Cause I got very active that day. We found out was basically fighting with everyone on our pod page. So a little
Yeah,
unprofessional on my end, but I really don't give a shit.
yeah. That's
But
what Twitter's for, though.
absolutely. Um, but I think It's not even more so the location. I just think it's the atmosphere of the whole thing. You take a team out of a city and put it in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you have to reestablish an atmosphere. And where are you gonna go? You're gonna go to Crazy Horse after? I mean, there's nothing around there. So you have to really I don't know, it's just you would have to rebuild. You would have to rebuild the stadium, obviously, number one, but you'd have to rebuild an atmosphere. You'd have to rebuild shit around it so there's something to do. And you already have that here. Um, I think just having it down in the city, you don't have to keep it down where it's at. I think all right, I need you to visualize. People that are listening at home, close your eyes. So you are coming off of the highway, coming into downtown. That ramp that goes around that leads you on to East 9th. You know where we're at?
Yeah.
Put the stadium right there.
Yeah.
There's a whole plot of land that's just a parking lot. Get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
like
on
the
it's
biggest.
on the outskirts. It's away from the lake. You don't have to worry about cold weather anymore. Well, you still do, but you don't have to worry about being so close to the lake. And
I'm right on
it's
the
right
lake.
there. It's right there. I think that would be a perfect spot for it. And then you have Browns guards, Cavs. That it would be so perfect. It would be a perfect spot for it.
100%. I mean, like the biggest thing is building the dome, but like, can they, like, with the location that we have now, are we able to put a dome there, or is that why, like, they're buying that? Is that why this new land was bought, and or they're thinking about possible relocation?
I think it's more. I think it's honestly. I think it's all a bluff. Um, I really don't think they're going to build there. I think they know that it would be stupid as fuck to build there because there's nothing around. So I think they just did it to try to get Cleveland to do something about it. But
So what would they use that land
um,
for then?
he's probably going to put the female soccer team there. Like realistically, he's probably going to build the female soccer stadium there. Um,
It's a fair point.
but I don't think you. I'm not sure if you could put a roof on that just because of when you build something like that, you have to account for all the weight, obviously. So you have to do certain things to do that. It's like literally adding like 50 feet onto a stadium like that. Well, you got to think you're not just doing a 50-foot section like this. You're doing a 50-foot section like this. So that's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
weight. So I think they would have to rebuild regardless. Um, so just keep it downtown. Keep it in the city. You have to. You have to. It's the city atmosphere is sweet. You come down after a game and then you win that game. How fun is that walk back?
Dude, yeah, it's that playoff game, dude. I mean, me and you were talking literally. You were walking back to your apartment. I was walking back to my dad's truck, dude. Like, or to go to the playoffs, not the playoff
Yeah.
game, but um, yeah, that was fucking insane, dude. Like, it's electric.
Especially after like a 1 o'clock game too. You win. You what are you doing when you're going to Brook Park? Get back to your car? No, when you're going from the stadium, you're walking up ninth, bar here, bar here, bar here, bar here. Hey, let's continue this awesome day because the Browns just beat the shit out of the Steelers, and let's go
Yeah,
hang out at Winking Lizard. So it's like there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can go right down East Fourth, hella bars down that way. There's bars everywhere down here. You would have to build so much stuff down there for it to even be like enjoyable. So I think you've already got the stuff here. Just keep it here. That's a little bit of bias on my end. I don't give a shit. I think you have to keep and you know my stance on those other teams too. I think it's stupid as shit that their stadium is far as fuck away from their city. Um, Again, that's just me, but we'll see what happens. They're probably not going to move anytime soon, but
yeah, yeah. No,
we'll see what happens. But the more important thing about the Browns we got to talk about is free agency is coming up faster than we know it. What is that? March?
yep, sometime in March. Yeah.
So what you got for me? What do we got? What do we need in free agency, Mr. Analytics?
Well, I think we all know this one, but wide receiver is definitely the biggest piece. I think that we need to add. Um, give give Watson another weapon. And honestly, there's a good amount of free agent wide receivers out there that we could get to pair with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and Njoku. And we were talking about this earlier with Cooper being wide receiver one, everything. Overall, I feel like if you have three solid receivers and Njoku, it'd be kind of hard to figure out who you're gonna like target to make sure they don't get the ball. But
Yeah.
like I mean, some big name free agent wide receivers: Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., Calvin Ridley, Marquise Brown, Gabe Davis, um, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Boyd, and then I mean T Higgins is going to. I mean he's franchise tagged or he's going to be from Cincinnati, so
Yeah.
he's not going anywhere. Obviously, that was the biggest one a lot of people wanted to see, but overall, I mean, I like a I like this list. I would not be disappointed with anyone that we took on this list, but obviously the biggest one I do want to see is Mike Evans. I think that would be crazy if we landed him somehow. We talked about it, but um, like I said, I'm not going to be disappointed with really any of these guys. I mean, I think all of these guys on this list that I have are they're really good fucking receivers, and I think they would all. Mm, I think they would. Most of them would work well here in Cleveland. Especially with all the weapons that we have around them. Um, but the biggest, I think, if we don't get Mike Evans, I think our next best option would be Gabe Davis. Um, I mean, he was wide receiver two in Buffalo. He's a solid receiver, really good receiver. I mean, worked well with Josh Allen. And to think about this too, if he comes over here to Cleveland, like he's gonna be with under Ken Dorsey, which he knows his ins and outs. So
Yeah. That's a really
that
good
would
point.
that would be huge. And it's not like he has to go learn a whole new offense because it's Ken Dorsey. He knows his offense.
Yeah. No, I'm happy you brought that point up. I wasn't even thinking that when we were talking earlier. Um, I think the biggest reason, obviously, you need a true number one. Amari Cooper is really good. Love Amari Cooper, but he's a two. Anywhere else he plays with, he's a two. So I think, especially if he was still in Dallas, he would be a two. Um, he's our one, but you go out and get a true one. You prolong Amari Cooper's career with a true one. Um, I think wide receiver would be the most important. Um, but again, I think you have to get Mike Evans because that is a true one right there. They're going to sign Baker to a contract, and who knows how much money they're going to be able to have to spread. Um,
I mean, there is a good chance he could end up back in Tampa Bay for all we know.
there's a very good chance of that. And you have to yeah, I'm sure that that's on their mind too. I'm sure Andrew Barry's waiting to just make a call to someone. Um, but
I
nonetheless,
mean,
wide receiver would be really nice. We also need some offensive linemen. Would you rather try to target that in free agency, or would you rather try to draft that?
um, personally, I feel like I'd rather try to go through the draft with that. I think free agency, you gotta go towards a lot of like the skill positions, like running back, receiver. Um, I mean, linebacker is another big one for us, honestly. So I think you can draft pretty well with an offensive lineman. I mean, so like there's obviously it'd be nice if we picked up like a good offensive lineman. Like the one I have in my list is Tyron Smith from the Cowboys. Like he was the best rated um, free agent offensive lineman this year, and we all know how Dallas's offensive line is. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I
Yeah,
would love to see him in Cleveland, but I wouldn't personally. I think you go to the drafts, you draft someone. I don't even think maybe offensive linemen's our first priority in the draft, but we're also not picking until the second round. So
What is that pick?
that pick is, let me check real quick. It is,
And go look at our tweet too. Go show that some love. And let
yeah.
us know what you guys think as well about what our draft should be.
So that pick would be 54.
Okay. I mean, I've said this on here and I'll say it again. I think the second round is just an extension of the first. So, second round pick is just a cheaper first round pick. So it's that's your absolute second guy. You're like, oh, we got to go get this one. It's like, okay, now that we got this guy, let's go. Let's go get so and so. There's a lot of good picks that come out of 2 and 3. Well, you get good picks everywhere, but I feel like those are your 2 most important, and then you kind of just hope that you hit on the rest of them.
Yeah.
Let's be
definitely.
real here. The draft is you're shooting in the dark. You don't know any of these kids. You don't know any of these guys that you don't know how they're going to translate to the NFL. I mean, shit, we drafted Johnny Manziel. So it's like, you never
Yeah.
know. You really never know. And honestly, a good example of it right now, Kenny Pickett. I mean, the Steelers always draft well. The Steelers draft well and they go win games. So it's like for them to mess up on a draft pick is like, ooh, interesting. So never really know with the draft, but yeah. So I guess we will be on the lookout here. Let's see, free agency starts. I just want to see here. Free NFL free agency.
But no, I mean, I think we got to go after a linebacker too, dude. And like the biggest linebacker I would love to see is Levante David, dude, from Tampa Bay. I think I've talked about this. I talked about this, like a month ago or so on the Down with the Browns podcast because we were talking about free agency and stuff like that. And one of them had brought up Levante David's name, and I'm just like, yeah, like we do need, I don't think AWOC's cutting it for us.
No, he's not going to be on the team.
He's a great leader. I love him. Don't get me wrong, but can't stay healthy. Same with Jacob Phillips. So it's like right now we got
another
JOK.
speedy linebacker that can't stay on the field. That really does suck.
Yeah, I mean, like we got JOK and Taki right now, but you need your Mike linebacker. So
For sure. Yeah, we do need a linebacker. Anthony Walker's not going to be on this team next year. I don't think Jacob Phillips is going to be on this team next year either. So you got to go get one. You got to go get a big name. Like you said, use free agency for your skill positions and then go draft interior linemen, defensive linemen. Honestly, I feel like I don't know, man. I kind of want another safety. Thornhill is not really what I thought he was going to be at all.
yeah, I see your point there, but I gotta give him another year. I think it's kind of hard to judge off of just this year, but he definitely, don't get me wrong, it was disappointing this year because one, he couldn't stay on the field with his calf. I mean, and he don't get me wrong, he played decent when he was in there, and I do like him because he's got the Super Bowl experience with the Chiefs. So that's one thing I do like about him, and to be honest with you, I love his mentality too. He's just like pretty much like fuck everyone else, Cleveland against the world. So
Yeah,
I do
he
like
reflects
how
our culture. So
I do like how he embraces Cleveland, but I think you got to give him another. I forget what type of contract even we got with him, but you got to give him another year, I think. And I think him and once he's fully healthy with his calf and having Grant back, I think him and Grant could. I mean, they will work well together, I think.
yeah, I think, dude, Grant Delpit is our future at safety. I think so. I'm happy that we locked him up. I'm someone that I'm surprised that we haven't locked up yet is JOK. I'm sure it's coming. Considering that he had his best performance in his career, and the best performance of anyone on this team in the playoffs. So we'll be on the lookout for that for sure. Free agency starts March 13th at 4 p.m. So that's literally right around the fucking corner. So we will obviously be covering that. Jake will be on top of that with the Twitter and whatnot.
100%.
But yeah, so thank you guys for listening and watching, because obviously we've been doing YouTube for a couple shows now. This will be, let's see, let me do a little
Dude,
calendar
real
math
quick,
here.
did we have any
What's
technical
up?
difficulties with this?
No,
We made it through a show without any technical difficulties.
dude, that makes my day so much easier.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you though. Mid show, my mic unplugged, and I just was like, "Oh shit!" But like, hey, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, it was a good show. We had a good show today. Yeah, sorry about last week. It really went to shit at the end. So that kind of, that was honestly kind of funny. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. As you can tell, this is all a work in progress. So we're doing the best that we can for you guys. But yeah, so not this week or not next week, but the week after, I'm not going to be on. So it's going to be Jake and whoever he wants to bring on. I don't care. Do it. He's going to do what he's going to do, because it's going to be What's Up 216 with Jacob Brickman that day. So it's going to be
Who
like
knows?
who
Maybe I
said,
bring Paul. Maybe I bring Paul back on to talk about some guards because I know he wants to. He wants to rant about the Guardians a bit. You know, I've been talking to him on Instagram and Twitter here and there, so I know he
yeah,
wants to talk about it a bit.
for sure. But yeah, so we'll keep you in the loop, and we'll see who we decide to bring on. But as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you interact with our social medias. That really helps boost the show, helps boost our social medias, so we can, get more content out there for you guys, do more fun stuff. Um, we're working on a merch site so you guys can continue buying that stuff. Yeah, so he's repping the hoodie. We're gonna be getting hats. We're gonna be getting shirts. We're gonna be getting butt plugs. We're gonna be doing a bunch of stuff. So make sure you guys,
Whoa!
oh, make sure you guys stay in the loop with that, because you're not gonna want to miss these. These are some honestly pretty fire hoodies. They're comfortable and they're cheap. So make sure
Seriously.
you stay on, stay up to date with that. But as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We will see you next week with another episode of What's Up 216, and we'll probably be talking some series Cavs, because get ready to lock in, boys, because playoffs are next month. So
Fuck.
lock it in. Not
That's
next
crazy.
month, April. It's not March yet. Or when did March or April starts.
That's
That's when
so
playoffs
crazy to
are.
think about, though, dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be dude. I feel like the first half of the season always seems longer than the second half of the season,
for sure.
but I mean that's crazy that it's coming up here soon. I mean,
Mm,
it's gonna fly
let's
by
see.
either way.
NBA playoffs start 2024, April 20th. So right around the corner. We all know how quickly that's going to get here. And March Madness is coming up, so we'll have some discussions on that as well.
True.
We'll do a show bracket challenge, so you guys can follow along with us and be like, oh my god, you know. But yeah, so we'll see you next week. And anything to add, Mr. Brigman?
Nah. I mean, not really. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Um, we're working hard, obviously, with everything we got going on. So, but we're trying to put out the best content out there. Um, hopefully, within the next couple months here, once I'm, done with school and everything, this settings will be looking a lot different. You're gonna see me and Kevin together, so
Yeah,
that'll be lit.
yeah. We're the show that I come back, not next week, but the following, when I'm gone, I will be moving into my new place, and we'll have a legitimate setup. So you won't be seeing this anymore. You'll be seeing my whole professional setup. So sponsored by Blue Yeti. Give us some mics.
Yo.
But yeah, so peace out, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.